The 11th labor of Heracles: steal the apples of the Hesperides. Imagine the audacity of Heracles, embarking on a quest so perilous that even the gods might think twice. The 11th labor: steal the apples of the Hesperides. The title alone sends shivers down your spine. Picture this: a hero, not just any hero, but the Heracles, tasked with stealing golden apples from a garden guarded by a dragon with 100 heads, each whispering secrets of eternity. Now, dear listener, let's embark on this journey together, shall we? Heracles didn't just waltz into the garden and pluck the apples like low-hanging fruit at a Sunday market. No, this was a feat that required wit, brawn, and the favor of the gods. The apples weren't ordinary apples. They were the wedding gift from Gaia to Hera, a symbol of divine beauty and power. The task was a trial of cunning over strength, a testament to Heracles' growth as a hero. He had to navigate the whispers of deceit, the allure of immortality, and the temptation of absolute power. It was a labor that questioned the very essence of heroism. Is it the glory of the conquest or the wisdom to know when to seek help? After Heracles completed his first 10 labors, Eurystheus gave him 2 more, claiming that neither the Hydra counted, because Iolaus helped Heracles, nor the Augean stables, either because he received payment for the job, or because the rivers did the work. The first of these 2 additional labors was to steal the apples from the garden of the Hesperides. Imagine, if you will, a world where the impossible becomes possible, where myths and legends walk the earth, and where a hero's journey can change the course of history. This is the world of Heracles, the son of Zeus, and his 11th labor, the theft of the golden apples from the garden of the Hesperides. Now, dear listener, you might be wondering, why apples? What's so special about these golden fruits? Well, let me tell you, these were not just any apples. These were the apples of immortality, guarded by a 100-headed dragon and the daughters of the night, the Hesperides. To steal these apples was a task that seemed insurmountable, even for a hero like Heracles. But Heracles was not a man to back down from a challenge. He journeyed to the ends of the earth, battled monsters, and even tricked the Titan Atlas into helping him. The story of this labor is not just about the theft of the apples, but it was also about the cunning, strength, and determination of Heracles. Unsure where to go, Heracles first captured Nereus, the old man of the sea. Nereus was a shape-shifting god, who was also known for his gift of prophecy and for never lying. Nereus, much like Proteus, would only give answers to those who could defeat him. This is why, when Nereus woke up and began changing shape into vicious creatures in order to get Heracles to let him go, Heracles held fast. Nereus told Heracles where the garden of the Hesperides and advised Heracles to get Atlas to pick the apples rather than do it himself. Finally, Nereus told Heracles that Atlas would make the offer to take the apples to Eurystheus himself if Heracles would just hold the sky a little longer. Nereus warned Heracles against that. According to some versions, Heracles was told by Nereus that he would first have to slay the dragon Ladon, who guards the apples, because Atlas feared the dragon. Finally reaching the garden of the Hesperides, Heracles struck a deal with Atlas. The agreement was that, if Atlas picked the apples, Heracles would hold up the sky in his stead for a while, had Heracles not swapped burdens. This task would have been as challenging as his previous labors, such as defeating the Hydra and cleaning the Augean stables. When Atlas returned with the apples, he decided he did not want to resume his duty of holding up the heavens. He tried to trick Heracles by offering to deliver the apples himself, if only Heracles would continue holding the sky a bit longer. However, Atlas had no intention of returning. Remembering Nereus' advice not to accept the bargain, Heracles pretended to accept the bargain. Heracles himself tricked Atlas. Heracles pretended to agree to the offer, but asked that Atlas temporarily relieve, so that Heracles could take his lion skin pelt and make a padding of it, so he could be a little more comfortable. While Atlas went to take the apples to Eurystheus, Atlas agreed. But as soon as he retook the heavens from Heracles, Heracles walked away, carrying the apples. In one of the most famous stories about Heracles and his 11th feat, the theft of the golden apples from the garden of the Hesperides, Heracles tricked Atlas to accomplish his task. Atlas was a titan who carried the sky on his shoulders. The garden of Hesperides, where the golden apples grew, was under his care. Heracles knew that he could not take the apples himself, as they were guarded by a watchful dragon, so he decided to ask Atlas for help. Heracles suggested that Atlas switch places. He would hold the sky, while Atlas gathered the apples. Atlas agreed, glad for the opportunity to rest from his burden. He gathered the apples and returned. But then Heracles offered him another deal. Heracles asked Atlas to hold the sky a little longer, so he could put a pillow on his shoulders for comfort. Atlas, unsuspecting of any deception, agreed. But as soon as he took hold of the sky, Heracles seized the apples and walked away, leaving Atlas to carry the sky on his shoulders once again. This is how Heracles tricked Atlas, and was able to accomplish his 11th feat. This story is a prime example of Heracles' cunning and wit, which were as crucial to his feats as his physical strength. After Heracles tricked Atlas into retrieving the golden apples, Atlas was forced to resume his eternal punishment of holding up the heavens. Subsequently, according to one version of the myth, Atlas was visited by Perseus after he had slain Medusa. Atlas, weary from carrying the heavens, asked Perseus to show him Medusa's head. Perseus fulfilled Atlas' request, and Atlas was transformed into a mountain. Thus, Atlas became the mountain we know today. Despite a brief respite from his burden thanks to Heracles, Atlas continued to carry the heavens, and was ultimately transformed into a mountain. These stories underscore the plight of Atlas in Greek mythology. Either at the start of his 11th task or while returning to Tiryns, after having acquired the apples, Heracles encountered Onteus. Onteus, a son of Poseidon and Gaia, challenged everyone he met to wrestle him. He was believed to be invincible, and had constructed a shrine to Poseidon out of the bones of the men he had killed in wrestling matches. As Heracles was a formidable wrestler himself, he accepted the challenge. Before the start of the match, while Heracles covered himself in oil as was customary, Onteus covered himself in dirt. Despite his strength, Heracles could not wear Onteus down. Heracles realized that Onteus was invincible, because as long as he touched the earth, his strength was renewed by his mother Gaia. This being the reason Onteus had chosen dirt rather than oil before the match. With this revelation, Heracles adopted a new tactic. He lifted Onteus off the ground and shook off the dirt that Onteus had on him. After that, he caught Onteus in a bear hug, lifted him off the ground, and did not let him touch it. Being unable to renew his strength, Onteus was unable to match the might of Heracles who, holding him aloft, crushed his ribs and brought an end to Onteus. As we delve deeper into this tale, we find ourselves drawn into a world of gods and monsters, of heroes and villains. We see Heracles, not just as a hero, but as a man, struggling against the odds, facing his fears, and ultimately, achieving the impossible. This is a story that resonates with us, even today, because it speaks to our own struggles, our own journeys, and our own victories. We encounter Atlas, the titan burdened with holding up the sky. In a twist of fate, Heracles convinces Atlas to retrieve the apples, offering to carry the heavens on his shoulders in return. Here, the narrative swells with tension, for Atlas, tasting freedom, contemplates leaving Heracles in his stead. But our hero, ever so clever, tricks Atlas back into his eternal duty. securing the apples and completing his labor. This tale, brimming with metaphor, challenges us to ponder the weight of our own worlds. What skies do we hold up? What gardens do we dare not enter for fear of the dragons that lurk within? In the end, Heracles' 11th labor teaches us about the burdens of legacy and the fleeting nature of triumph. It's a story that resonates through the ages, reminding us that the greatest quests often require more than mere strength. They demand the courage to face the unknown, the wisdom to seek help, and the humility to accept the transient nature of success. As we reflect on this tale, let's take a moment to appreciate the lessons it imparts. Let's remember Heracles, his struggles, his victories, and his legacy. And let's remember that within each of us, there's a hero, ready to undertake their own labors, face their own dragons, and seize their own golden apples. In the end, the 11th labor is more than just a story. It symbolizes our own potential, our own strength, and our own ability to achieve the impossible. So, dear reader, as you venture forth into your own life, remember the lessons of Heracles, remember the 11th labor, and remember, within you, there's a hero, ready to create their own legend.